Yeah, but welcome in everybody. Hope you guys are having a lovely Sunday today. I'm back after a couple days. Been busy was not busy a lot today. Was I had to take a break here and there these past couple days, you know, trying to like at least not to go crazy with like burning out myself this past couple days with streaming, like trying to stream every day, stuff like that. So even though I missed a couple days of possible streaming, that the days I should be streaming, I missed out on because of other things. But I thought I should come back, especially like a day like this, a good day like this today, and do decided to work on to do a podcast, right? The reason why I had a lot of things that kind of like was that kind of bothered me mentally, if that makes sense. Um, and it's not like what's going on outside. It's basically the things I've been seeing a lot that kind of made me question a lot of things, or kind of like express myself little by little on this. And I thought I could get, take this opportunity to kind of like discuss it with people, with others, as well as, little by little, as we progress, especially in today's stream. I was gonna do set up like a little agenda on like what should I be discussing about, and even like kind of like get tips on like, okay, because I know with every podcast, every talk show, there's always a category, and they get into like between like a 30-minute, 40-minute, maybe close to an hour monologue of it, and then of course they go on to the next. But I think with me, I rather just talk about it however long I could talk about it for, and then after I get done talking about it, I'll move on to the next case, stuff like that. But I thought I was kind of like thinking I should start off with something that kind of was like the foundation. Well, not like the foundation, but kind of like how it lingered, like it was kind of like part of me throughout my whole life. Growing up growing up as a baby, to a kid, teenager, all the way to my to the day to the person I am today. And I thought I was kind of like thinking. I at first, before I was going live, I was kind of thinking, contemplating myself, like having a little conversation with myself, thinking like, I feel like it's a little too early to talk about something like this, but I feel like there's like a limit, if that makes sense, of how much I could just like, talk about it, or just, like keep it bottled in little by little here. And I was like thinking, you know what? I'll take this opportunity, because I remember talking about this in my past streams, just nonchalantly, just whenever I'm doing like diamond painting, or I'm like with friends here and there, just nonchalantly, just a little talk about it, not like a full-fledged conversation about it, if that makes sense, right? So but you know what, I rather take this opportunity just to kind of like like kind of put it under a bridge in some sense, but at the same time relieve myself a little in some way. So the discussion that I'm going to be talking about is basically dreams, right? And we know what dreams it, like, of course we all have dreams. Wherever we knock out, wherever we sleep, we pass out, knock out, or whenever we're going places that's far, takes hours. Anything in general that involves sleep, right? We just doze away, and then whenever we're like completely just don't like zoned out, dozed away, our bodies are relaxed, and our mind just, it's just not there, right? So and of course there are times where we have like pictures, played in our mind, because we always just like believe that we just sleep, for a couple, like, we close our eyes and then we just be like, it's just pitch darkness, there's nothing in front of us, we only see like shades of light and darkness a little here and there, but sometimes we don't imagine things, right? So, but whenever you do imagine things, some could be very nice and some could be like very something you do, some like memories you do not want to relive, if that makes sense, like, if that makes sense, like you could relive some of this, only if when you're sleeping, when you're dreaming, stuff like that, right? So the reason why I wanted to discuss this, because through the times I have rested here and there in the, in the past to the present, majority of my dreams were always very positive, like it's always very wholesome and very kind, right? I always give like very, very lovely gesture dreams, I always have. And of course it'll wait, like I'll be waking up in a positive outlook, very positive, very like I could feel refreshed, feel great, and I'm willing to take on the world today, right? That's like one of the many positivities. But to go with that, there also were times where I kind of like relived, my past, that, that of course we all could relive our past, like here and there. But for the benefit of me, like majority of my dreams I've encountered, the times I've slept, I have encountered so many, which is beyond, like beyond me, for me to like thinking like, why am I getting these past dreams and stuff like that, right? So maybe question things, right? Like just here and there. So so what ended up happening was, I remember just like thinking, well, not kind of like thinking, but like I remember just getting like a notebook, right? I remember getting a notebook and a pen, like either a pen or pencil, whatever, something I could write on. And I remember just writing what the things I dreamt, right? But the good thing is I remember these, like I can remember these dreams that it was just yesterday, right? And I wrote a lot. Like I said, for me, like I'm not the type of person who likes to write things on, like, however I feel or wherever I think, onto a piece of paper. It's, for me, like it feels relieving, but then at the same time, it doesn't feel relieving at the same. It's like a 50-50 for me. Like it's okay, but then it feels like it's not. It's things like that. So I could give one example, right? And of course, like I said, this conversation might, trigger something. It might triggers, like if it triggers some of you guys, you're more welcome to tell me. And I'll be honest, I'll try my best to try like talk as very minimal as possible, at least in this topic of mine I'm going to talk about. Um, so in this dream that I remember having, it was back in high school. It was back in high school, my senior year. Um, it was during prom. It was during my senior prom. Which it was like I think if I remember correctly, it was 2012. Between 2000, I think it was 2011, because I remember I graduated in 2011. Um, but besides the point, I remember I was going to prom. I was going to prom. I remember it like from when the friends I had at the time, we'll be here at my home, hanging out for a little bit. We'll be taking pictures. We all were like nicely dressed up, for all the good stuff. And then we just, we start hanging out. Like at a certain time we headed out. just amongst ourselves, just me and my three good friends, head out to to the side of the prom and go have a good time, right? So it was a fun time here and there, good and all. Sure enough, ended up going to a after like a after prom party kind of, right? Um and remember just having a good time. I just remember like just having a great time, having a great chat with friends, and just saying like hope see like it was kind of like almost like those things when you see in movies where you hear them just say like, oh, it's a great time, and and hopefully we get to see each other like down the road, right? And it'll be like, I'll see you on the other side kind of thing. So as that, I remember just thinking that, and then sure enough, like I had, I remember I was just like exhausted from the whole day, from that whole entire day, and it was barely hitting midnight here, and I remember just I was just tired, and I was just wanting to walk home like that night. I wanted to walk home, and the play in of course my friend's house that I pictured it was kind of like close to my home, and I started walking out, like, and just leaving the party, right? And sure enough, as I was walking away from from the party, right, I think I got in between, I say not even like not even half a mile away, like, or at least let me see, if I had to take a good guess how far away from the house I was, I say a good 10 to 15 feet, maybe pushing 20 feet, right? Away from the home, right? As that happened, I heard gunshots popping off at the, of course, the home, at the house that the party was going on, right? I froze. I remember I froze. I turned around, like looked at the house for a blink of a second, just to see if people started running out. Sure enough, if I saw, as soon as I saw like more than three people running out of that house, I started running, just it like dead sprinting to my home, like literally almost like like the cops were out to chase me, kind of like not saying the cops were out to chase me. That's for clarification, but I ran I ran the hardest I could run back home, right? And I remember just getting home, panting, sweating, like the sweating from my, like, back of my shirt, and just like my, I remember just like I could just like pick, like almost like a mirror, like I can remember a mirror, looking at myself, just this tense fear, like that split second moment of that happening. I was just like, holy shit, like like that really just happened, and I just like, I didn't want to be part, like, not, let alone did not want to be part of it. I didn't want to be caught in the crossfires wherever, whatever happened, and yeah, it was just that, like, that blink, uh just that moment in time where it was just like, fuck, you didn't want to relive that moment, right? So, like I said, when that's all that was majority of the dream I dreamt about, right? And then for some reason, as this, this little dream was going on, I just had this sense of like worry, of like someone actually got getting shot from this, right? And as I'm like, going with the flow of where I was dreaming, sure enough, there was a door, like, just like, like a door, like Caroline. If you watch Caroline, there's like this magical door that leads to like a different area or different world, right? So I see this door, like, I see this door, and like slowly kind of like creep up to it, like in in like kind of like that's weird. That's a door shouldn't be there. I feel like that shouldn't, but like I said, it was all in a dream, and that's how I saw it. So I kind of like, kind of like reached out for it, grabbed the knob, turned it slowly, and kind of like slowly opened it while peeking at the creak. Of course, the door gap of it, right? As I slowly open, like I see, as I like look down, like kind of like investigated, looking up and down. As I started going down, I saw like blood, right? I just saw like splat of blood, like oh shit, and I just see like, and then I see like two random people, like random people, and one person I recognized, which was like one of my teammates. I saw that, I got scared. I got scared, like to the point of like I was shocked, and then as I heard like a click, almost like someone either opening a door or someone reloading a gun. As I heard that, I looked behind me. No one was there, and then as I turn around, like turn to face forward, there's already a the socket of like a pit like of a pistol dead in my like right here, like kind of hitting my forehead, and then I just see like everything went white, like a flash. When that happened, I woke up like panting, sweating, like scared out of my life. Right? I was like, holy shit! And you know that feeling where like you feel like you don't believe it feels real, but then again, it feels real. So, so my whole body was in a state of shock. My heartbeat was like going crazy to the point where I just the only thing I can remember was I remember grabbing my Apple Watch. I instantly put it on, and I had to check my heart rate. I had checked my heart rate, see where I was at, and I think I remember my normal heart rate is, of course, just 180. It jumped up to 250. Like I think with that number, it's almost like you're having a heart attack kind of ordeal. But like when that happened, I had to get up. I had to get up, like out of my bed, out of my room, into my restroom, and just started. I needed to cool off because like I said, my body was fully heated. It was just insanely heated, and I had to like cool myself off. So I literally remember just jumping to my shower, like turning on the cold water, just like the highest I could go, like the coldest of the cold, and I had to like just cool myself down. And I think I remembered my mother was just like knocking on, like kind of like quietly knocking on the door, because the thing was, I didn't know what time it was. I think if I remember correctly, it was like around 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was in that shower like super late, right? And of course, she knocked on the door saying, "Are you okay? Is something wrong?" I was like, "I'm fine, I'm fine." Like I'm just my body. Like I just made this like excuse saying my body just was very warm, and I felt getting warmer in there. I just needed to cool off, so I'll be out in a second. So I said like, okay, and of course she got a little worried. She said, "Sure, you're okay?" She was like, "Yes, yes, I'm okay. You don't have to worry. Everything's fine, right?" So I I finished my shower, freshly dressed, and then I just remember just sitting sitting on my bed. Like I didn't lay down. I remember I didn't do nothing. I just had a bottle of water, like kind of like laying down next to me, and just I was just like kind of like this, just thinking like what the like kind of like contemplating, like thinking like what the fuck was that? What in the hell did I just saw? Like I remember just like kind of like retracking like what just occurred. As I was telling, like, like, okay, I was in my suit to prom. It had a great time. Went to the after party. Then gunshots went off as I was leaving, and then sure enough, I see three people dead and a freaking gun pointing at me. I was just, I was just I was just like in my mind, just like, what the hell? I was like, but I was just thinking, you know what? This is like one of many like nightmares we always occur. Like, this we always have nightmares. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna. It's just a nightmare. I'm gonna, relax, not fall asleep. And I think that time, I remember I was working. I was like, you know what? I got to call off because I feel like this was gonna bug me for the rest of the day at work. So I was like, you know what? Let me call off this for today, and then just kind of like slowly pace myself, just relax myself. Don't go too crazy with it. Just relax. So that's what I did. Next day I call out just saying I had to tell I couldn't tell them I was like mentally sick because I feel like they wouldn't, because I know like back then like they didn't understand the works of like when people are going through something mentally, right? So I didn't want to say that to my boss at the time. So I was like, I'm clearly sick. I think I'm clearly catching like a cold or something. So I'm not gonna make it in today. So sorry, things didn't work out. So oh, no worry, no worry, take your time. Hopefully you're feeling better. See you tomorrow. Done deal, right? So after that, I just rested the whole day and just kind of like just like relax, don't think too much, just relax. So, but yeah, it was pretty wild. Like I remember that it was just something like, my God, I didn't want to think back at, but it was that surreal moment where it really got like very, very very real in my eyes, at least. It felt very real, and I was just like, bro, like Jesus Christ. So yeah, like, yeah, it was that, like very one of many at least. It was just a scary moment, but like it kind of like triggered, not like triggered anything, but kind of like piled on little by little as I progressively progressively sleep, right, to where my like course of dreams get more negative and gets more sinister, like in like very in like more graphic, if that makes sense. And I was just like God, like that was actually very. It felt that's where to a point where it felt too real. It felt too real to a point where I got a little scared. I got a little scared, and I had to contemplate myself saying like, oh, I need to talk to someone, and at the time I had no one to talk to, you know, except for like possible close friends, and then people who could relate little by little. But at the same time, I kind of like balled it all to myself, so I could just power through. Also, hey Rain, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Happy Sunday. Um, so yeah, that was one of many. Um, so so I was just so I had little by little. Oh yeah, right now, like, since I'm doing like little podcasts and talk shows, like podcasts, I don't allow the alerts to be in there. I think I had to remove it manually on my end. I think I had to remove it. If I could do that right now, real quick. Hold on, hold on. Let me just remove it because I know a lot of people come in to like give me a hard time, but like right now since it's like um little chat going on here, but yeah, I'm sorry about that, Rain. Give me a sec. Give me a sec, guys. Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good. All right, there you go. I'm gonna save that. Okay. But yeah, but I remember, like I said, just that dream itself, it became like a domino effect to where it started to become like a natural thing to me, where I was getting like dream after dream after dream, but never positive one. There was always negative, where it always involved like certain individual dying, which like, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, why is this happening? So So I had to like figure out ways to overcome it, or let alone kind of like relieve myself from not getting these type of dreams, you know, and kind of like move forward from it. But instead, like myself, like as like with myself having like a little little pride, like my like a man pride, if that makes sense, to where um I was like, you know what? I'll have to power through because I can't just talk to someone. But I developed like zero trust issues at that time when I was feeling these negative dreams and stuff like that. I just like I can't trust nobody. I have to just trust myself and just move forward from this. So that way I won't have to. I feel like, in my opinion, I don't want to share the pain with others because I don't want them to feel any like sort of pain or depression to go with my pain. So that's why I just mostly bought up a lot of things. But hopefully, as we progress through this podcast, I want to kind of relieve myself mentally and hopefully physically, because I know as I talk about this, I always get this heavy feeling in my chest of like almost like taking a big leap. Hopefully you come out unscathed, if that makes sense. But yeah, but on the positive, but like on another note, like we're gonna skip that. We're gonna like jump into the next next one that kind of like left that kind of retrained my mentality of like on my perspective of things is basically what every person, well, basically every person that I've gone through, doesn't matter if you're male or female, which is whenever people get friend zoned. The reason why I bring this up, and this is just a life of me. I remember having a discussion with this with my girlfriend about it, but I remember that, as I can remember, from I think from my middle school days into my high school days, I wasn't a player. I'm saying that right now, just to be out in front. I was never like that. I was not the playboy. I was not the guy that gets all the girls and stuff like that. Especially from middle school and high school, I wasn't never that. Even though I was considered like I was like a jock, like playing sports during those times. But at the same time, I had no I can't relate to like majority of the people that have like that atmosphere of like, oh, they're attracted to that person over me, right? So I just go based off what I feel. I just go based on what I feel, and just I just go with it, right? And the reason why I say that, because in middle school, and I'm like I said, I'm laying all out in middle school. Yes, I was a jock, but at the same time, I wasn't like that guy, right? I wasn't that guy. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go check out this girl. I'm gonna go check out that girl. I'm more like I like to keep things to myself. I was kind of like the emo jock guy. I was the emo jock nerd type of guy where I never wanted feeling myself with a lot of people. I wanted to not interact with people. I just want to be with myself and like people that I can relate to. And then if I couldn't relate to that, I'm mostly on my own, right? So there was the crazy part was there was a dream that I had involving that, by the way, if you guys are wondering. Where I remembered a random person, it was a random gentleman or phrase that, a random kid walking up to me. It was like, hey, Jesus, which if you guys don't know, that's my real name. You know, there's this girl that wants to talk to you. I was confused, didn't know why about it, but knowing me, from high school and middle school, I never said no to anybody. I was always a yes man. I was like, okay, it's okay, okay, okay. So I remember just walking with this guy to there was like a handball court in the school I remember going to. And and I remember just going to um to the handball court, and I just remember seeing a crowd of kids, like almost like when you see fighting, just they make like a crowd like that, right? But it was kind of like it's like the cartoons you watch. They have a people surrounding a little section, and when you see someone, they like it's almost like a gate. They opened up, and then of course whoever person has to come in, and then they close. Like a gate. So I remember just seeing that. I was like, "The hell!" And everyone just like slowly just dissipated, and then I just see like a random girl just right in front of me, and and then of course it closed. They slowly closed, right? And then I had no idea what this was, right? I had no idea what it was. I couldn't process what was going on. But all I know is I was in front of this girl, and I guess all she said was like that. She said, "I don't like you." She said, "I don't like you. You're not my type." Stuff like that, and then all of a sudden, like all the kids that was surrounding us just started laughing at me, and I was just like, I don't know what to feel. I didn't know what to feel. I was just like, what the fuck? You know, this is like random. I didn't know this girl. I don't know who she is, and this and this and that. And you know how like you try to avoid people by running away. I had no. It was basically I had no pretty much no exits, no way to get by people. It was basically they ended up turning to like a wall where I got stuck, but there was echoes of laughter just going all over, and I had to endure these laughs. So I was just like, it was I was just like little middle school me, just like crying and just hovering in the corner, just like hopefully it stops, right? And then it went dark. It went from like I was at middle school, dark. Then sure enough, I was walking the hallways of my high school, right? So now, I'm like, I went from transporting from my middle school days to high school, and I'm in my hallway, in my high school, just by myself. They have no idea like how I got here. I was like this looking around, what was going on, and and what was what was kind of crazy about this one was that it kind of affected me. Um, when during my freshman year, actually, either my freshman or sophomore year, one of those 2 years, right? But it kind of mentally messed me up a little bit. To where I had to be very kind of like how I say it. It was I was very disclosed with everyone, and then with evolving with a female, I was very away from. That makes sense. So I was just walking the hallway, and I see another girl. Don't know who she was. I have no recollection who she is. I walk up to her, and then she just kind of like walks up to me saying, "Hey, Chewy, mind if I ask you a question?" Uh, sure. What's your question? And then, of course, she instead of like saying it out loud, she had this like kind of like whisper in my ear. She said, "Are you gay?" And then she walked away, and I'm there, paused, like standing right there in disbelief, like, what the hell? What did she say to me? Why did she say this to me? And then then it clicked. It clicked because the reason why that happened, right? It was because my friend, my one of the female friends I was cool with at the time. She asked me, "Hey Chewy, then can I ask you just a question? And if you feel uncomfortable about it, just tell me about it." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Don't ask away. And we'll tell you my honest opinion about it, right?" She straight out asked me what I've, you know, of course, the same thing I've dreamt. Like, well, not the same time, but like kind of like I was thinking back of what I remembered to the dream, right? It was there's connection with that, right? So, anywho, she said the same question. Did you know that the girls, my homegirls and everyone else, they thought by talking to you and how you react, um, are you gay? What? Yeah, are you are you gay? Kind of like questioning. Like I was like, no, I'm not. What makes you say that? And then she's like no, I was just asking. I was just asking, and um yeah, something says. I don't know. I was just asking, and I'm just asking questions. Like I said, if you feel offended by it, just let me know. I said no, I'm not. Like what did that? Why do they assume that? And it's like and I guess they base off. I guess I remember just thinking back to it. I remember like all the girls in high school were always visually looking at people, right? They randomly look at people and they get their own aspect of like, okay, what does this guy and this guy, they always nitpick the little things off the guy off people, right? So I guess for some reason, because back in high school, I would hang around with my baseball team, right? With all my teammates, all this and this and that. It will be just us, right? I'll just be right them, just chilling and chatting. And I guess for some reason, these girls, I guess one of these girls kind of like followed me, or one of these girls this something. I'm not sure what it is, but I guess for some reason they see me more. They see me interact more with the guys than the girls, and I guess that's where they kind of like put the almost like a kind of like a question in their heads, like, is this guy gay or something, or what's this guy's deal, kind of. So I was kind of like, I remember just thinking about it, was just like, it was kind of an, I felt annoyed, if that makes sense, where like not the annoying part of the fact of like I was being called gay, stuff like that, but it was just like what possessed an individual to assume that this person, was or wasn't gay. I was just like, I remember just asking her that. I was like what, like why did I presume that? Why did they assume that? And of course, she didn't get a respond, and and we just dropped the whole conversation about it. But yeah, it was just that, you know, it was that, and then I remembered, and then like to follow it up with the dream and stuff like that, because what was crazy about this one was, there were times where my all the friends died, all the guys and girl homegirls, pretty much I could say, they would wanted me to kind of like put me into like a date, like kind of like, well, trying to hook up with their friends or their cousins or something like that, right? Majority of the time I always get rejected, but the rejection of it was I will get friend zoned, or they assumed I liked guys, and then of course other reason was they always say that I wasn't their type, and this and this and that. So, but the only two rejection, like the only two comeback rejections I remember getting was they believed I was gay, and I was um they see me as a friend, or better yet, they see me like as a brother. So those three things. So those three ejections I remember getting from them, kind of like, affected me little, but like not to like extreme measure, to a point where just like, not like, almost like you feel defeated, stuff like that, and you can't get, like, never have a chance with some people, because it's either you're labeled as a gay person, you're trans to them, or you're like a brother figure to them, kind of. So when that, whenever I get those comments, I remember, you know what? I rather just use them as resources, or kind of like something I rather use as kind of like my advantages, if that makes sense. So I remember doing that, and I took full on, advantage of it. So sorry, let me get a drink. And also, game winner. I have not heard of Sylvia Chavez. I'm sorry. So if anything, I'll make sure I'll check this person out. Like, okay, yeah, but I'll make sure I'll check this person out, off stream. But in the meantime, like I said, we're just having, a chill time, having a chat and stuff like that. So, but I'll make sure I'll check this artist out. So, back to what I was saying. So, hey, Chamber, how are you, man? I'm doing well. We are having a discussion about friend zone. How about game friend zone? And based off based off a dream I had, getting friend zone, and of course jumping onto, of course, the category of like getting friend zone. And I can honestly say, your boy here has been friend zoned a lot of times. So, do I wear it with passion? At this moment, I do. Does it affect me? No. But as a younger lad, as I could say, I remember being affected by it, and I remember using it as an advantage to where I remember just like giving lots of tips, being friendly with a lot of people. I was very interactive. Um, basically was I just was basically there for people, at the time. For doesn't matter if it was for a guy or for a girl. But I remember back in high school, I was only there for basically like all the girls I remember interacting with. And the only reason why I say this because, like I said, the only people I've known mostly was my best friend growing up, my homegirl, and then of course she introduced me to some friends from her softball team, and then of course her friends outside of it, right? With the inclusion of people I've known and grew up, with, I just pretty much became like almost how I call it, kind of like a love group. Not I won't say a love guru, but kind of like a guru for like being that guy friend, and I remember getting so much just like very honest opinions about it, very honest tips like I could do about their situation and stuff like that, right? And yeah, it was very it felt very comforting, to be honest with you. It felt very comforting. I felt very positive knowing like, okay, yeah, I understand, yeah, that I'm not getting like the how I say it, kind of like the rewards for my efforts kind of thing. But then again, there will always be people be like, oh, how about if I try to get you, hook you up with my friend? I'll get you that. At that time, that's where I decided to say no, because I feel like based off how very honest I am, very friendly I am, I knew too well I was not gonna I was not gonna fare well with it. I was not gonna like not last long. Not cause about like I'm not gonna treat you rudely. No, it's not that. It's just like I said, I was very friendly with them. Like I was very respectful with them. But I feel like as years go by, there's always something different about everything. Especially with certain women, or in my case in high school was the girls. They're very picky. They're very picky. They have certain they were looking at certain things on guys that will fit their personas or their fit their type, stuff like that. They have their own scales and stuff like that. All the little things they try to find. They'd be like, not feeling that one. I'm not feeling that one. And of course, they always have like standards, and everyone has standards. But like, guess during that time in high school, those girls had the most strictest of standards, right? But the crazy part about that, sorry, but not the funny part, but the crazy part about it, I always get brought up into conversations about that, about how I was like, hey, why don't you have a chance with my boy here? The uh game winner. I wish I know who that was, but like I said, I don't know who that artist is. But like I said, I'll have a chance. Whenever I have a chance, I'll make sure I'll hear this artist out. But I remember the reason why I brought this up because like I said, my homegirl asked me like, "Hey, Chu, you're in the talks, right?" I'm like, "Talks of what?" So I was like, "Talks of like how girl like there are some girls that have interest in you, but you do not fit their standards. And I'm like, okay. I was like, are you offended by it, or you okay with that? I was like, I have. I remember telling her, I was like, I have nothing against them. We all have opinions, right? We all have opinions on what our standards are on like individuals. Sometimes our standards are very low, and some people, have their standards all the way to the sky, right? So for some reason, based off what my homegirl told me was she said that you're very well respected, you're very nice, you're very friendly, and what's what's funny now, here comes the funny part about it. They told me, they said if you were to be more out there, dress a little differently, maybe change your appearance a little here and there, you would have a chance. I was like, hmm. That's where I kind of like told my homegirl, I was like, you know what? Like, I respect what you're saying. I appreciate what the information you're giving, but at the same time, I had to decline. I said, you know what? I am not gonna change for certain, based off comments. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna, and that's like, just that by itself. That's why I knew like how the type they were, and I was gonna move forward for it. I was not gonna be disrespectful. Like, that was the thing, though. I told myself, like, no matter what they are, what they do, they're gonna be the ones that have to reflect on their actions and comments on certain individuals. As with me, I am just gonna move forward from it. It's not gonna affect me. It's not gonna bother me. I'm just gonna keep moving forward and get on with my life. And basically, that's what I did. Especially at the time when I was in the baseball program, I was mainly focused on my school, like my school, playing baseball, and then with like certain friend groups I've been more close with, if that makes sense. So I've all that, you know, and then of course, like with family, I was always like kind of like here and there. Um, but the only but I remember also like just, putting on top of like the standard thing with girls. I always remember coming to across conversation with guys as well. Like I said, when I was hanging out with the guys in base with the baseball program, their standards were like my god. Like, at first I thought they were gonna be like a scaling kind of thing, but theirs was, Jesus Christ, dude. I remember, who was it? I think, if I remember correctly, who was at the time? I think it was it Dominic or Dominguez? I'm not sure what his name was. I forgot what was his first name, but I know his last name was Dominguez. I remember. I remember he just randomly just asking us. I'm like, "Hey, bro, did you want?" Like, I got a quick question for you, Chewy. I remember he asked, nonchalantly asked me. He said, "Do you want a girl that has a big, thick ass or big titties?" I was like, to be honest, neither. I rather just have this, someone who's just themselves, just themselves, stuff like that. And I remember he kind of like negatively said, I was boring, like that. But I know, like, myself, knowing like, oh my god, I'm gonna be dealing with this guy for like the rest of my 3 years. I just like play with his games. I'm like, I want to see big titty, big ass. Just to play with him, like, just so that way I don't have to deal with him in the future. It was just annoying. He was like annoying, like, to be honest. He was very annoying. He kept on like just talking about, yeah, like, yeah, man, I want a girl who looks nice, who look perfect and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, dude. My mind. I'm like, my mind, I'm like, dude, you're asking for a higher standard, dude. Your standards are extremely high. You shouldn't be even thinking like that, dude. Like, come on, man. Like I told, eventually, what happens if you don't have that, you don't find that one? What's gonna happen? You know? And he was very confident. That was the only thing about him. He was very confident in himself. He felt he had the swag. He felt like Mr. I could get that girl. He was like, I could get that girl. He had that vibe in him. He was like, but in my eyes, he was like, you cannot. So, but but it kind of like it was just very no, it was kind of like I was very crazy about like just knowing about the all the standards, like it may like thinking back like now that I'm like a little older, a little wiser now, I'm just thinking back about standards and stuff like that. There aren't any like both males and females are both standards are not. There's not even like if there was a contest between whose standards are highest, I could say is a dead even game because there's always both parties want something out of each other. They want something great, something amazing out of both sides. So it's just like I was like, can you think like honestly? You can't think like it's like not outside the box, but more inside. Like what happened? Ever like you ever thought about do they have a great personality? You have different like similarities and interests. Something like that. Like no, does it have to be like based off looks? But I guess not many people could think like that if that makes sense. So I was just like, ugh. That's why the word like majority of the time people will question. I have people question me of um like do you even want like I remember there was this crazy part. I remember when I got out of high school, my friend that I think he went to college and I think he just traveling. He asked me, he's like, Chewy, do you ever want to get with a very beautiful girl? And I'm like, do they have great personality? Do we have same interest? He's like, let's say that. And I'm like, I had to stop him right in his tracks. I'm like, see, that won't fare with me, dude, because like with me, I have deeply amount of respect for women. Like I respect them with all, with highs of a highs, and then if they get to a certain extent of being negative and low towards me, I'll have to give them that same energy. But I want to respect them like that. But if they don't have like at least like the same interest or like a good personality to go with it, then I'm not gonna waste my time. It was like, and I remember he got offended real quick. He got so offended. He's like, "Really, Chewy? Really? Like you're gonna go based off personality and like interest?" I'm like, "Yes." Like there's so like, come on, dude. Like if you were to get with a beautiful girl that you have no interest in, and her personality's out of whack, dude, you're gonna be miserable your whole life. No one wants to feel miserable. They want to feel happy. They want to feel comfortable with their partners. Like that's not gonna work like that. It's like it's not a video game. You're like you can't do it. That will never work. So yeah, it was just it was funny for him reacting like that, and also enjoy the lurks ring. It was just that I'm like, dude, your sense of thinking is clouding, your judgment. But but there was no way to like talk him out of it. He was just more interested of looks, pretty much, and You know, and I'm just like, dude, you cannot always date a dime. You know, you cannot date a dime like a hundred. Like that's just crazy. You cannot. You know, you can't. I was like, and he, of course, he tried to insult me. He was like, "Oh, so you like to date like nickels and pennies?" I'm like, "Yeah, I will." Shit, I told him straight up, like, "I will. If they have great personality, they have same interest, I'll date them." You know, I told him like that. It's like, don't. He's like, I don't care what you say, dude. Like, come on, I'm an honest man. I'm very honest, and you know, I'll say what I gotta say. If you don't like it, then don't. You know, don't involve me. You know, you don't involve me in general. Don't involve me. It's, you know, so. But but yeah, it was just, you know, all that time, you know, and then just like, you know, this past, you know, this couple years, you know, I remember having conversation with all the recent women I've never have had contact with from high school. Yeah, I remember just there you messaged me and were like, hey Chewy, how are you? I was like, who are you? Like, it's me from high school. I was like, I have no clue who you are. So I'm sorry. Like, I'm your friend's homegirl. Oh, hey, you know, like the awkward. Hey, you know, cause you know how like the, you know how that sense where you like, you know, when you run into old classmates, you just cause you go based off you remember them in high school versus you know when you meet them when you get older, right? You're just like, hey, awkward. Yeah. Oof. How's it going? You know, I hope you're doing okay. You know, like that awkward phase. So, but the crazy part that was crazy about them, like I've chatted with them, but majority of them, they were all end up getting married. They're all, you know, having children. And all just like, okay, gotcha. But the only surprising is always with the and it goes both ways with women and male. With males is always, you know, with of course with the guys, whenever a guy gets with they end up dating or marrying or so and so with a woman, is always like someone they don't know or someone they do know, and but he's like, nah, what? Nah, you're kidding, right? You know, they'll be like that. As with I know the girl, I know with the women, I think women they like, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong about this. I know they probably judge the women who's like the women who's in a relationship with the man. They'd be like, real. Sometimes they'll be like very negative. They'll be like, really him? All the guys you could have you know, you have a chance with, you went with him. You know, there's certain. I know there's certain women that I know. Some be like very positive. They be like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." I said, "I knew you," and I know there's always that one woman. They be like, "I knew you. I knew it. It was gonna be you and him. I just knew it." You know, I have that sense of feeling that I felt that because because I'm that guy. I remember I was that guy, right? Because you know, I remember just reading off like, well, I'm at the time I never read off vibes like that, but whenever I see social medias and stuff like that, and whenever I see, you know, like for instance, like what's a good example? Like, remember whenever you go on Facebook, right? When you go on Facebook, you know how sometimes on Facebook when you go to like the profile of someone, you know, sometimes someone you chatted with or someone like who friend requests you and you don't know who it is, you have to like kind of like look at the pictures. Sometimes like who's she? Like, do I know this person? You have to look at I don't recognize him and stuff like that, right? Then once you do recognize him and then you see like they're, you know, they end up dating or, you know, marrying so and so with this person, but you recognize the partner, you'd be like, what the fuck? No way, you know, and you're just like, your mind blown. You'd be like, what? This is crazy. So yeah, that was the crazy part. That was the only thing I could say about that because I have experienced so many of that. But majority of the time, people would whenever I run into old classmates and people I've encountered with, they will come up to me is to be like, "Hey, Chew, do you know this so and so got with so and so?" I'm like looking, I'm like, there's no way. Like, how do you know this, right? Because I never like stick my nose into people's business. Mostly, people come to me with all the drama, business that goes on. I'm just like here, just mind my own business, no bother. So and just hit, and then sure enough, just I get hit with all this. So I was just like, I remember just thinking that, and then and then of course, I have to of course, sometimes my homegirl will relate it to me most of the time too. But the only difference between people I know come up to me over like my homegirl will come to me was she'll kind of like put like not say a dagger, but she'll kind of like poke me with it, saying like, oh look, there was the girl I told you about that had interest in you, but she didn't had no interest in you because you're like a brother figure to her. And I was like, thanks. So she was doing that. She would say all the people that I've possibly could have known, which I didn't, saying like, oh, she had interest in you, she had interest in you, she had interest in you, but they all looked at you as a friend and like a brother figure. I'm like, thanks. So, but but then there was times where she kind of like when we were like drinking and like chilling, she was like, "Would you want to though?" I was like, "No, no, I would not. Sorry." I kind of like told her straight out. I was like, I wouldn't. If I were to go back in time, I told her I wouldn't. I would basically would have focused on more on my education and sports. Because at the time, because to be honest, during the times I was playing baseball in high school, right? I was pissed off at everybody. Like not just not just like not the people I've encountered, but mostly towards the program, more like the baseball program of the high school. I was more pissed at them. I hated them with a passion. Like literally hating with passion. To where a point I was like, I was like telling them like I really won't fight you. But then the crazy part was they say they don't want to fight me. Um, I don't know why. They never gave me a reason. I forget who it was. I remember just like I called out one guy. I remember I called out a senior during my freshman or sophomore year. I called, he made me like pissed off so much. I just wanted to fight him. He was just laughing. He was just laughing to a point where I made like threats to him, like legitimate threats to him, and he just of course he nonchalantly laughed it out, and of course of course the coach of team, well not the coach of the varsity team kind of like pulled me aside to his office, and he was just saying like of course he said like don't you need you like stop no fighting and like what happened stuff like that. And of course, like I said, as a kid, I was very honest. I didn't hold back no punches. I didn't care about anything, right? I didn't care about nobody. So I remember just telling him like I didn't like him. I don't like him. I wanted to fight him, and I threatened him. And the coach kind of looked at me, and then kind of was trying to be he kind of like looked at me, and then kind of trying to like comedically not he was trying not to take serious, right? He kind of like he felt like couldn't take me serious, but then he wanted to take me seriously. So he just like no fighting, like you're a good kid, you're a very hardworking kid. I don't want you to waste yourself on individuals only because whatever happened, stuff like that, right? And then of course he said like I'm gonna. He said like he was very interactive. He was cool and all, but like I said, I never liked nobody. And I think I remember one time well actually during that conversation I remember saying to the head coach of the whole program, I told him I don't like you. And of course he, knowing him, he's like it's okay. You don't have to like me. I'm not here, you know, to be liked. I'm here to develop a relation, like friendly terms. You don't have to like me. And I think thinking now, I remembered after high school, like I remember telling him like, "Hey man, I still don't like you, and I still respect you." So pretty much what I did was I was so because like right now we're gonna kind of like after this we're kind of like we'll move to a different topic about this, but all this whole thing, like all this emotion I've been having that connects with all the crazy dreams I have. It was just like an endless loop. It was like an endless loop, but then it was like all this emotion follow into like one, and then just like implanted like into like dreams and images I'll be having. And just like all when you dream about these things, you just want it to end, but at the same time it's kind of like almost like you want to relive it to that way you like kind of like I won't say motivate yourself, but kind of like giving you a message saying like, you know, you're better in this, or whenever you're going through a hard time, you gotta think about, what the things that you've changed to make you become the person you are today. If that makes sense. So I remembered when I got out of high school, like this is going based off the dream I had with all this. Like I'm gonna like this part, like I said, I'm cutting the friendship part out, inserting the one with my interaction with the baseball program in there because I had out my emotions on that one. I was super mad at with that one. I hated everybody on that one, so that connected with that. Um, so with that story, how we kind of ended with that one was when I graduated high school from 2011, and I remembered interact. I remembered I was still there. I was there because I think I applied for a community college at the time. I was applying for there, so I had like this many. I had like what I think it was 2-3 months off before I had to do the. I think it was a fall semester, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, but I was there just working out at the school. I was there doing my thing, just hardworking, doing this and this and that. And I don't know what. I think my memory's a little foggy about it, but I remembered having this encounter with someone, one of the graduates. I think I got into like a tense moment with them, and I think I remember also having a moment with one of the alumni as well. So I got so aggravated and annoyed. I remember this talking shit, not giving a flying, you know, to any of them. And I think after I got done with everything, and I remember I pulled my head coach onto the side. I gave like those evil smirk, like a smirk, like a smirk, and like smiled at him. I was like, I was want to let you know something, coach. I know you probably like my worth ethics. You gave me opportunities all the time, but the times that you did, I was ashamed. I told him straight out. I told him I was ashamed of you for not putting my my capabilities to work. So for that, I told him straight out like I don't like you. You know this already. I don't respect you either, and I just walked away. And I remembered also um dealing with another. I think there was his assistant coach at the time. I remember I looked at him. I was like, I remember I did the same thing with him. But I think because I was more mad with him than the head coach himself, I was like, you know what? I told him, I'm gonna be short and sweet with you. I don't like you. I don't like you or respect you, and you can take it how it is. And of course, he wanted to know why. He wanted to know why, you know, I didn't respect him or like him. And I'm like, I was like, I don't have to explain anything to you. You know, if you really want to know, you should have seen it by now. So I told him like that. But I think he really wanted to know. But eventually, like after a couple of years, I told him like, you never, motivated me. You never give me that push. I had to push myself. So, because when it comes to sports, especially if you're in high school, right? There was always favoritism, with coaches. Coaches always favor certain children, right? But in my case, and I'm like I said, I'm laying it all out. In this case, the coaches always wanted wealth. We were not a very privileged school. We didn't have a lot of funds, stuff like that. But we had a great community that was willing to donate, for the program. So that was a good thing about it. But the bad thing about it was, they always privilege the most wealth. That makes sense. So they never privileged the hardworking class, if that makes sense. So I'm like, okay, all my hard work was for nothing. So all my 4 years was for nothing, pretty much. So, but I never for once regretted working my ass off. You know, I just did it so that way I could rub in her face, knowing any like alumni or any person I've encountered with, I could work harder than this individual. So that was kind of like my ultimate trump card I could use. Not my personal trump card that I could use that I know I could have an advantage of. So yeah. Oh god. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So I had to let all that out. So it was just it was very it was very crazy. I had it was very daunting to deal with. And I remember like now I remember talking to well, not this conversation, but like any other conversation I had, like I remember talking to my girlfriend about it, and of course some good friends that I could call friends at the time, because it kind of like it felt like an itch, if that makes sense, to where like I felt like I have no possess over it. I felt like I had nothing. How am I going to recover from this? But that's where I kind of like took the initiative of like, I need to talk to someone about it, because what's kind of crazy, I never wanted to speak about this with my family, because of course with family in a Hispanic household, there will sometimes be positivity from it, but then there'll be more negativity about it. So I kind of like disclosed it, not to talk about with them. Instead, like kind of like get opinions on other people's point of view, because they could semi relate, but not fully. But at least they could relate to like a certain extent on how of the things that of course we all go through in our phases of life. But it was just I needed that closure for my kind of like that relief closure to like where I need to let this out, or else it's gonna mess with me mentally. And you know I wanted well, I at the time in high school, I think I remembered wanting counseling from it. I wanted to do counseling with a counselor to kind of like be open with it at the time, but at the same time, I had to take it back because I felt like if I were to come out, like with my expression, how I feel and stuff like that, it would make me feel weak, if that makes sense. And I remember that I talked about this with my girlfriend about this situation where I feel like if you were to express yourself to your partner or friends, or mainly the people who you affiliate yourself with, you feel weak, and that's normally what I would feel about 90% of the time. From my middle school all the way to all the way toward like probably like I think it was in college that when that happened, when I started kind of like getting worse from it. I always self doubt myself. Um I felt like expressing yourself would make you feel like a weak person, even though it doesn't. But you know, coming from me, like I said, it makes me feel that way. And I don't like to feel that way. It's just how I was, kind of like how I was. Do I want to be different? Of course I do. I want to be better. I want to improve. I want to feel relieved, right? But during that time, I just never like I said, I never trusted nobody. I never liked anybody. You know, I never had like a good circle of people. Like now, I have great friends and a awesome girlfriend I could have this conversation with. But but back then, I never had no one I could talk to. And when I did, I felt like I felt like I didn't want to talk about it with them, and it didn't feel right with me, at least. So yeah, it was very hard. It was very hard, and you know, but thankfully, luckily, it turned out well. I was able to get through it. I'm better now. So the only thing I always do is always do my best to give positivity back to lots of friends, and of course always look out for my girlfriend, because I know, they're still going through a lot, and I always willing to put willing like this always a crazy that's always another crazy part about me was I'll be willing to give myself up to help others, and it's unselfishly of me to do, but it's something it's something I've been doing, or kind of like it was kind of like a process I've been doing for all my life, and yeah, and I still don't regret it to this day for all the for kind of like still telling people I'm willing to give a leg and an arm for them, especially with my girlfriend. I'll be willing to give a leg and arm to make sure they're okay. So so yeah. Oh god, it's a little deep, huh? I'm sorry, but yeah, I felt like especially with this, it'll make me feel relieved that I had to let everything out, because so that way I feel like if letting all this out could like help benefit me, like at least help me sleep better at night, at least, because of course because like I said, if I know if I'm struck, I think, because I know one time, I think my girlfriend could clarify about this. When I sleep, and I'm not sure if this happens to you, but it just, I think with me, I think it normally generates only to me. I remember sleeping. There was one time, I went to go to Philadelphia to go see my girlfriend, and I remember we were just laying down in the bed watching I think it was like a marathon at the time of Harry Potter, right? I remember she was still watching, and I know and I'm I'm trying not to be detailed as much as possible, but I'll just I remember she was stroking my hair, pause, just stroking my hair to put me to sleep. I fell asleep, and and I think my body was twitching. And the reason why I say that, because when I woke up, she, I know my girl, I'm not sure if she was scared or she was nervous about seeing me twitching. Like my body would be twitching. And I remember just like waking up like nonchalant. I think I remember waking up nonchalantly, like almost like you normally wake up. Like when you're sleeping, you just wake up. But I think she got scared. I think my girl got scared. I might be wrong. And she said, I think, remember, I like sat up. She was saying, "Are you?" I think she asked me like, "Are you okay? Is something wrong?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then she was saying, "Okay, but just so you know, you were twitching a lot." And I was like, "Really?" Like, yeah, you were twitching a lot. So, and I think that goes based off it goes off the shit that I've been experiencing. Well, not the shit I've been experiencing, but the things I've been like dreaming about, like all the negative, like I said, all the all the negativity, and the gore and all the violence I'll be dreaming about, aka my nightmares. Pretty much, I could say all the things I've been dreaming about. It's to a point where my body reacts differently. Like to where my body twitches a lot. And I know it probably scares people because I know like there's always a lot of people like with symptoms, their body tends to tweak a lot and stuff like that. But for some reason, whenever I sleep and if I'm having like the worst of nightmares and stuff like that, my body would just tweak all over the place. Well, not tweak all over the place, but like it'll be like this, like the small tweaks, like nothing too crazy, but it's almost to a point where you just feel, if someone were to see, like, if someone who sees me sleep, they'll be worried. They'd be like, it's like something okay with him? Is something wrong with him? I don't want that. So, it was just that, and I just felt very concerned myself. I'm like, oh shit, like I don't want to worry nobody. That was my main thing. I don't want to do worry people. So yeah, it was insane. It was crazy, and and I think I remember I told her I was sorry for making you worry. I never wanted to make people worry, and of course, she had to say like, fine, don't you have to be sorry about it. So I was just, kind of like let my emotions out. I felt like willingly, and I could have sworn I felt like as I expressed myself, I felt weak. I don't know why. It was that weird feeling of just like, you know what, I feel weak, and I didn't want to think that, and I got worried. I got worried to a point where I started critiquing myself and telling myself like, you know, some probably they don't want to how I say it, be with you because you're weak. And I remember saying that to her. I told her I remember asking her, just saying like, will you still be with me if I be show my weakness towards you? And she said like, what do you mean, like why would you say that? And it says, of course I'll always be with you. And it kind of like, I that's what I felt. I wouldn't like I felt okay, and of course she kind of like got a little mad. She kind of told me like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? And so I don't know. It just that mentality. I didn't want to think that, but it was just So but luckily, it made me feel blessed and grateful to have her. So yeah, I was just. Oh god, yeah. So yeah, I'm slowly like I feel light right now. I feel a little lightheaded because it's just all that weight. You build up all this. You've been holding on to this for so long. You just like you just feel that like that. It's almost like a boulder. Just they just lift that boulder and just put it to the side. It's like you're okay now. You can breathe now. You just yeah. So yeah. Give me a couple minutes. Give me a couple seconds. Sorry. It's just because whenever I talk about certain things like this, because I do tend to feel emotional about it, because there were a lot of like I said, based off like the negativity I would be dreaming, there was always such positivity and such like memories I would get um you know thinking of like the good times with like like childhood and like past relatives. That makes sense. So like I said, I'm trying not to you know think too hard about it, because it does, like I said, it makes me feel very emotional. I'm like a very emotional person, but like it's just who I am, and it kind of helps. It kind of like makes me think back of like kind of like I wish I could go back in time, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Ooh, I gotta think hard real quick, because I remember this because like I said, I'm expressing a lot of these things out, and just especially right now as I'm gonna talk about like some of the emotional stuff is kind of very hard. It was very hard to talk about. Like, not in a bad way. It was just that it was those times of day where it was like very emotional, if that makes very sense. Um so I'm trying to like take little time with it. Uh, like, let me kind of collect myself. 'Cause as soon as I collect myself, we're going straight into it, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Right. Okay. My bad. I was just like, all right, well, I'm ready. So now, like we kind of like I kind of like talk about all the like kind of basically the dreams I had, like all the dreams I have, negative wise. Now we're gonna get into like the most kind of like wholesome and like memorable memories I had, with positively. So, so warning, it's gonna get emotional. So I think I probably had to change that as a title. Like, so hang on. So I pretty much just put that warning. Ah, shit, I cannot spell warning for some. Very emotional. I have to put like a laughy face, so that way it can be like, okay. As well, probably. Uh, uh, uh okay. All right. So see, what can I start off with? Because I had there were so many good ones I had. Actually, you know what? I know which one, and it actually kind of like follows up with a uh with a what do you call it, a conversation I had with from the first one with Batting and Anna. So basically, it was that, if you guys don't know, I've gone to Mexico with my grandmother many times. Majority of the times were during my summer break from elementary school all the way towards. I think the last time I went was during my junior year, which was like around 2010. I think it was 2010. So I think so. Yeah. So basically, when I was born, not when I was born, but I think when I was like 2 years old, all the way towards like when I was 18. Um. So the memory I can remember, like I said, the dream I had go with this was very emotional because, to let you guys know, the two people that I've known sadly passed away. Like during my middle school years. It was during my middle school years, but like, but I had great memories with them. So I remember going to visit my grandmother's side. Uh, my grandmother's part of Mexico, which is around the area of Zacatecas, Mexico. Um, we went to go visit her mom, which is my grandma, which was my other grandmother at the time, and we would always go visit different parts of, sometimes outside the city, sometimes within the city. So in this particular case, we went outside the city to go visit my uncle, which is my tío. Um, up in the mount, kind of like in his personal ranch in the mountains, right? So I remember just being there. I remember just being me, having the blast. I remember riding the outside the truck and just holding on to the railing as we're making the trip to the mountainside, to the mountaintop. And as we get there, of course, with family, with my aunties and my uncles, they always so happy to see, their, other part of families. In which case, they always enjoy my presence there because I was have lots of energy, very positive. Like, I always give them a smile, right? And I remember just, saying hi to my tío. He was just so happy to see me, seeing his ranch, seeing the horses, the chickens, the cows, you name it, enjoyed the farm life, kind of, that makes sense. So and we were just vibing. Like I said, I was just, I was just being a kid, having the greatest of time. I had a chance to ride his mule. I wanted to ride his horse, but I was too small to ride, so I ended up riding his mule. Um, and I remember we just went up to the mountains to go fetch his one of his cows that ended up wandering around. And I remember just, I was more because I was worried as a kid, still scared because I wasn't sure the cow was gonna be aggressive. So I remember just my uncle just like saying, "Oh, you can pet him. He won't bite. He won't bite. He's very friendly." And I remember just petting the cow. It was just like, the happiest, and it was just. And then my grandmother had like kind of like the old school Nokia snap picture with the with the rolling trigger, right? Take a picture. And I remember just like I remember like I remember like I try to like hold back my smile, and I was just like looking plain, like there's a thing I look like that. I was like that as a kid, and of course my take a picture of it, and then of course when we on our went our way, bringing back the cow. And I think I remember just playing with the kids, um just like throwing rocks around, just playing marbles. It was like I said, it was a great time, and it was fun. It was like a great memory I liked about it because um because of how very positive he was. He was very interactive. Um, such a gentle soul. We all loved him. I wish I could have seen him now, because especially like if you were to see me now, like all grown up, just being like, a little, very childish, but at the same time very mature. It was just it was a very great pleasantries learning from, not learning, but kind of like being around him. That makes sense, and I couldn't like ask for like an awesome, family relative I could like surround myself with, if that makes sense. As well as to go with my other abuelita, my other grandmother, who also sadly passed away during when I was like during the time was I think I was in high school at the time, if I was correct. She was also a gentle soul. She wasn't very vocal, but like whenever there was a time to make conversation, she would always make the time. And when there's someone that she knows, for a while, she would have her own time, as well as with her with my other grandmother and myself, because I think she always loves to see her. Of course, with other grandmothers, they would like to see other grandchildren. So she was also, like I said, she was a gentle soul. She was very awesome to very interact with, and it was very awesome. It was just very, it was very pleasant, if that makes sense. It was very pleasant to be in her presence, with her, and with also her with her wise, because she was very wise as well, as well as every other uncle, auntie, and as well as his grandparents I've encountered the times I've been there. But it was very awesome. It was such a it was very awesome to kind of like know what what they mean by the words they speak of, and kind of like incorporate it in my own, like my own flair, if that makes sense. So it was just yeah, so it was just very it was very awesome. And I can honestly say like how blessed I am to had a chance to interact with them. Do I wish I could have seen them? They could see me now? Of course. I was always want to whenever any individual I've encountered with my life, it doesn't matter if it was like, aunties, uncles, grandparents, you name it. I always want them to see me how I am today, just and see how much I've grown. So yeah, so I know they're watching me from above, so it just they probably want to have like a small like little chat, have a little giggles here and there with them. So yeah. Oh shit. Oh shit. Yeah, that's like coming off a little strong, so that's kind of like, it was just might as well, like it was just the cuz like I said, it was just one of those memories that you feel like you want to remember forever. It's kind of like the memory you want to remember forever, and you do not want to forget about. If that makes sense. So I know that one, with including the many ones I'm gonna talk about as well, was kind of like one of my amazing, kind of like one of many amazing moments I could remember as a kid. So yeah, sorry. Okay. Yeah, because it was very hard, like not because knowing the fact that when you lose such amazing people in your life, you just question a lot of things, if that makes sense. And with those two that I can remember, like just what it was yesterday, it just makes it kind of hurts, why do you have to leave this earth from us, if that makes like the mindset of like, why did you leave this earth from us, I wish you could stay here a little bit longer to see many people grow, including your grandson, so but like, as my mom always say, like, God had plans for everybody, and I know when their time was up, there was like, kind of like saying like, you're ready. Yeah, just and I know like to this day my grandma still thinks about him, which as much as I do, because it's just because like I always want to retrace, well, not retrace, but revisit. Sorry, revisit Mexico. But it was just that sense of like, will I be okay to go back? Even though I did, but I only went to go visit like one of my cool cousins. And it was not that far from, not like in the heart of Mexico. Like, even though it was Mexico, Mexicali, Mexico, like it's still Mexico, right? But to go where I've had my great childhood memories from, Michoacan, Mexico, and Zacatecas, Mexico, and Guadalajara, Mexico. So I feel like if I were to go back to go revisit those certain areas of Mexico, it might be a little harder because like, I think for me, because if I were to go back, like for example, if I were to go back to Zacatecas, Mexico, I feel like if I were to go inside the house that remember, like just staying in their house, I would feel contemplated. Well, not contemplated, but eager to be like visiting, like to see her room, because I feel like with because I know with my grandmother passing, with and of course with my grandmother now, he probably does not want like nothing touched. Like, he wanted to be left there, kind of like as a memory of her, if that makes sense. So I feel like if I were to go back there, like I'll have all these memories I'll be thinking about just all along. And of course, I would like kind of like wipe my tears knowing that like it was right here and stuff like that. So like it's also the same thing when if I were to go to the ranch, to go visit my uncle. Same thing. The only difference is if I were to like be sitting, sitting on like the top of the roof and look at the mountains. And if I get zoned out, of course, like I'll think of the memory, and then I would be like I said, deep in thought of like thinking about my uncle about the time. So oh fuck. Yeah, so that was so yeah. Oof. Yeah, I am trying, like right now I'm trying my hardest right now not to like like kind of like shit, like kind of like hold back my emotions. So yeah, so that was one of many. That was one of many. Hang on. Yeah, so yeah, I know I do miss him, to this day. And I know my grandmother still misses them to this day. We try not to talk about it because you know, because I remembered my grandma would always tell me how much like how much they loved me, how much they enjoyed my company, and like the energy I had, and she felt like if they were to like see me now, of course they're gonna have a different perspective of it. But at the same time, it'll be like I'll still be the same me pretty much in their eyes. But at the same time, I'll have that kind of like that same energy that they missed for all these years. So sorry. So yeah, fuck. Yeah, cause and I remember my grandmother told me that, and she was fighting back her tears like more than I was. Like that's how crazy it was. She fought back. She was fighting back so much tears because of how much like because it was like how much interaction I remember getting from them, man. The times where I had conversation with them, and how much like energy I had, if that makes sense. Like kind of like this scene. You see this like energized kid with just the smile that could lighten your day, right? Could make any old timer feel like blessed. You know, seeing like their grandchildren grow up, healthy, grown, and possibility like got get wise, if that makes sense. So I have that sense, that's how my grandmother was. My grandma was thinking about, kind of like thinking for her grand for my well from her mother, aka my grandmother, kind of like thinking about, and I wouldn't blame her one bit for her to think like that. So yeah, so same thing goes with my grandfather. My grandfather also had that same was the same way with with their grandparents. You know, his parents, aka my grandparents, rest in peace as well. They had the same they had the same mentality when it came to my my appearance, myself and my sister's appearance. So the times we went to go visit them in Mexico, you know, they had great interactions with us. They had a great time with us. You know, they were always feel blessed to have us in their lives. You know, seeing the family grow and stuff like that. They were so blessed. You know, especially like my grandfather's dad, which is my grandfather, rest in peace. He was very chill, right? He was very chill, but at the same time, he was very vocal. You know, he was very honest, very respected. You know, everyone loved him. We all loved him with a passion. It kind of like gave that initiative for the foundation for my grandfather because made him very wise. My grandfather was very wise, very humble. You know, he would say his opinion, but he had like a strong will, if that makes sense. And and he had like that hard work mentality in him, you know. While at the same time he would be very loose, if that makes sense. Like the times where he wanted to be loose and stuff like that, he would be himself is whenever he watched something of his interest, which it was wrestling. You know, watching WWE, you know, it doesn't matter if it was the time when ECW was in town, WCW, or just WWE in general, or whenever you watch different programs, he will always enjoy himself, having a good laugh, watching the funny things that goes on there, as well as he will enjoy the fun, the most awesomest stuff that goes on there, right? So and of course I would always watch it with him, you know, and he would have a blast, and he would kind of like to say the same things what my great grandfather would have said. Well, rephrase that, my not great grandfather, my other grandfather, sorry, would say to like, which what made it kind of like like shockingly crazy weird that the things I remember here, like I remember like just a little bit what he said, but at the same time it was like blurry because I was like a kid. But I remember my grandfather would relate the words my grandfather would say, say to me that he would say to me, and it was just so mind-boggling. You know, it was just insane. I was just like, what the fuck? I was just like it was scary. Like at that, like it was to a point where it felt very scary, and but I couldn't do nothing except for like kind of like shed a tear because it was like come on, it's my grandfather, like he was a wise man. He was the wise man of the family. He was very respected. You know, there's no like nothing you could have like react differently towards. You know, it was just it was that he was that guy. He was that guy pretty much. He was that guy that you always would love to be around and all that stuff. So same with her with my grandfather's mom, my grandmother. He was just the same. He was very vocal, very honest, very opinionative. You know, but she was very kind. So that at the same time, so it was just knowing those two lovely individuals. You know that they had a chance to see their grandchildren grow, or better yet, their family grow. But then for them to leave, not leave us, but kind of like sadly pass away, it was just, you know, there's nothing you could do but like almost like shed a tear for him. But you, but I try. You know, the only thing I could say about that was that I can remember just the great times from that. You know, like yeah, I was sad about it. 100%, I was sad about it. Like you know, I do not blame myself for being sad. But when I do feel relieved, I would think of the great times I had with them, and you know, I had lots of great times with them. You know, with from going towards the markets with them, having chats with them. You know, them seeing them smile. Like I don't know what it is. Like I feel like that's the cute thing. The cute thing I like about it. Whenever you see like your grandparents, you know, the smile. Like at first, you know, as a kid, you just think like, oh, that's. You feel awkward about it, but I know, like thinking back now, and I was thinking back, like thinking, wow, I made my grandparents smile a lot, so kind of made me feel good about myself, you know, in some weird way. So I was just like, I was kind of like, I think I did the right thing, you know, like, and then like when you know when I think back to them passing, I felt like just thinking like mm, they were gone from us, but like they were gone from us, but they know that if we were to if we stay positive, you know, through the harshest of times, and you know, positivity, we would be okay. And I kind of like told myself that while trying not to cry, because I know, I was like saying, I know my grandfather, my other grandfather, would say the same thing to me right now, saying, you know, as the, you know, with the wise as they are, they'd be like, they'll probably tell me like, you know, life is unpredictable. You know what's gonna come upon you, but you just gotta be ready for it. And when things go bad, you know, you gotta, you know, be positive about it. And, you know, you gotta do it with a smile. If that makes sense. So, you know, like it's a tall order. It's a very tall order to kind of like talk to do, but you know, I always try my best to try to like, you know, say I'll do it, live up to kind of like live up to expectations, you know, put the hard work in, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to, you know, you don't want to let them down, you know, and that's something I always never wanted to do. It's like let my family down, you know, always I want to strive to, you know, get better and, you know, look out for my family and as well as, you know, my friends and of course my partner. I don't want to let them down. You know, it just I feel like I would put overwork myself if that's you know the sense because I feel like if I were to let down on myself, I'm laying down everyone around me. So you know, so yeah, so I just um yeah, sorry. I'm trying like to like not shed a tear, like you know. But I feel it right now. I could feel the overflowing of it, but at the same time, I try not to, you know. So yeah. um, Oof. Yeah, that was like I said, like these were deep. Like the memory, like the memories I had, like the good memories, the good dreams I have, were all great memories, and dreams that that would like leave me into tears. Like when I wake up, I'll be like my face would be like wet. Oh, so yeah, that was a hard one. That was a very tough one. And it was just it was a very I cause I know that was a very struggling like a struggling phase I had to overcome. But at the same time, it was like one of my greatest memories I can remember having from it. So you know, and to like relive that as a dream made it like very wholesome, but at the same time, it was just like you wish it was real. You want to wish it was real again, but then we'll like actually try to go reach for it. It's almost like touching a cloud. It's just gonna dissipate as soon as you touch it. So it's like you try to enjoy the every second of it. Because like I said, you're sleeping, so it's like however long it is, you're just enjoying it. So yeah, no, so just oh god, that's oh sorry, it was just yeah, um, but for the most part, those are like awesome. Those are great dreams. I like. I wish, not wish, but I hope I could regain. Hopefully it makes my sleeping a little more better. All that stuff. Like for another one was I wish I could even see it. Which one was it? I'm trying to remember what it was oh okay. So there was this another one that kind of like was kind of like something that involves me playing sports, right? And if you don't know, with baseball, baseball is like what every kid's dream. Especially if you watch baseball, you'll be put in like scenarios where you feel like you could be the hero. That was basically me. I was one of those kids, always dreaming that you'll be put in this amazing situation to be the hero for your favorite baseball team to win a championship. And it was just it was just crazy. It was just crazy like just thinking that now. How much of a like idealist I was. Well, not ideal, but like kind of like how my imagination was, and then kind of like form into like a dream was like as a kid compared to now, like just get hit with random stuff, and I remember just dreaming that like just I can just remember it plain as day, right? I remember it was me. I think I was 5 at the time. I remember playing for the local park. Oh, not park. It was a local baseball yeah, like a local baseball park, right? Here where I live. It was basically like three, I think it was like what? Like I think four, like at least 2-3 miles away. Like not far, it's not far. It's not really far from my house. I remembered I signed up, and my team that I was assigned to was the Marlins. And if you guys don't know, there's a it's kind of like the kid version of the Florida Marlins, aka the Miami Marlins of the baseball team in Miami. So I remember just wearing the uniform with pride. I was so happy, and just remember just coming up to the plate. They announcers announced my name, my real name, this was Martinez, and I just remembered crowds cheering, my family's in the crowd, just seeing me go, and I remember just hitting a home run, and I was just like, if like it felt slow mo, almost like a movie, it felt like a movie where everything went like time slows down and it's slow motion, and you just see me just like swinging a bat slow motion, making connection to it, and seeing the ball fly. I would see the ball fly to the moon, and I'll be like just cheering, going around the bases, touching home, and I'll just have the field all to myself, winning a championship and stuff like that. So, but like what made it like I said, what made it crazier, like it transformed into like the stadium, right? Like a real like the professional stadium, and like just thinking of that, I was like, holy crap, that was actually pretty awesome, and yeah, it was just wild. Like it was just wild how crazy my imagination was, and like with all of us, we have like lots of amazing imagination to work with, and and then of course, you develop it into a dream, and you just like I said, it feels too real. You're just like, holy crap, But like what makes it more crazy, what make it more like crazy because you have your full. I think it was like I think what it was. I think it's a point of view of yourself, which is your whole persona. You're just watching this from afar, So it was just it felt weird, like seeing little me do that, and I'm just sitting there watching this all occur, and I'm just like kind of like gently like smiling and laughing, and I'm like clapping for myself, and it was weird. It was weird, but it felt very wholesome. Felt very wholesome, and it kind of made me feel good about it. Kind of like made me feel good. I was like, oh shit, like look at me go, and yeah, it was just it was just crazy to and then like to kind of like follow up on it. It made me also think about being a superhero as well. And the reason why with this one was because it was for like the different reason. Because if you don't know, if you ever watched the first Spider-Man, of course, or the origins of it, Uncle Ben dies, gets shot by the some robber or clerk. No, robber. Sorry, shoots him. Shoots him. He lies down on the street of New York, and he dies right there. Was was kind of um crazy about that. Like the superhero I wanted to portray was Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man became my favorite superhero because I remember loving the origin and of course the whole everything that surrounds Spider-Man. But my reason why I fell in love with it um was because of like what happened with it. Because I remember was I was dreamt I remember dreaming I was Spider-Man, and I went to go fight crime, right? But then I remember storming to save someone. Then this was a person I also lost in the process, right? And for clarification on who this person was, this one was a very great person to my dad, very close to my dad, and how I slowly got close with him and his family. And he sadly passed away from gang violence. You know, it was very tragic. It sucked. Um, and the last memory I had of him was a present he gave me. Uh, a portrait. Actually, it was a big portrait of Spider-Man hanging on a ledge, on like a ledge of a building, and then you had the skyscrapers, and then in the background you had Empire State Building. Um, and then of course, like I said, that's the details about it. And in this dream, I remembered I suited up as Spider-Man, what fought crime, and made my city my city safe.
I know you're the closest. They picked it up. They picked the fucking shield up.
Hey, Kitty, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the raid. Oh my god. You came in like in a great, well, I don't say great time or bad time because I was mostly talking about a good memory. God damn.
Jesus fucking Christ, kitten.
You deserve it.
Damn, kid. Shit, you're laying all the slurs out. Hey, sweet, sorry, man. Hope you're doing well. Welcome everyone. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. Let me hold on. Oh, oops. Oh, wrong one. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good one. I am Chewy, but I am Chewy. And if you guys don't know how to spell my name is CHEWY for you guys, but I know I spell it with CHUY. I am a variety streamer, arts and crafts streamer from California. I play lots of video games, including Overwatch, Fortnite, and so much. And I also do dye painting. As inclusion of that, I also currently doing a podcast, which is called the Crossfaded. You can check me out on, of course, here as well as my YouTube. I recently started my second one right now, and I did my first one with with Bad Aim Baby and Yay It's Anna. If you guys want to check it out, let me know. I'll make sure I'll put the link in the description so you guys could check me out. Right now I am currently talking about something that I had to get off my chest, which was the things I've been having, which was dreams, right? We all have dreams here and there. Some positive ones and some negative ones as well. So, and of course, I'm doing as well. I'm trying to give this dog attention. So but yeah, you guys are enjoy yourselves, sit back, relax, and of course you enjoy the conversation that I'm having. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, my father's good friend, aka Marcos. That's the guy. That's my friend of mine who recently passed away a long time ago as a kid from gang violence. And the last memory I had from him was a present he gave me, which was a portrait of Spider-Man. And I remember saying that, I remember dream like I was suiting up as Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man fighting crime, protecting the civilians, stuff like that, right? And I remembered, oh sorry. And I remember just remember there was this remember this memory where I remember chasing down some cars, and I remember just seeing two cars chasing one car, and it was my father's friend Marcos and two other guys, which by the looks of it was a bunch of gangsters shooting him down. So I had to save him. I remember saving him by pulling the victims out of the cars and webbing them up, stuff like that, right? Spider-Man style, if that makes sense. And I remember just saving him, and I felt happy, like, oh, I saved him. Protected it, like kind of like ride with him all the way to his home, like protecting him and stuff like that. So you know, even though it doesn't sound like a very like it doesn't sound like a very good dream, but to me it had a lot of meaning to it because how much how much it kind of meant to like the our family, like not our family, but like kind of like to myself and my father because of how close we were and how much we've interacted with him, you know, like the times before he passed away, you know, and he was such a very interesting individual as well. He was very awesome, like very, you know, very outgoing. He had his opinion. He had very lots of great opinions. He said um divided lots of wisdom, you know, and you know he helped a lot of people, like lots of people who like were kind of like in the bad time, like they were like struggling, they were in the fall time, to the point where they could have like lived a life of crime, right? And with him and my dad, they kind of helped so many people better lives, you know, like say like you should be doing this, you should be going out to get a job and you know start a family, stuff like that. So they were kind of like the catalyst amongst those two to help people out, you know, even though it took them a struggle because I know they have their individuals to work, they have their things to work on, which is their family and you know, taking care of the, you know, their children, right? But whenever they had time, they always had to like give them reflections on others and stuff like that. And me knowing um um Marcos, you know, he was such a great individual, and you know, like it saddens me where like it saddens me to a point where I wish he could have lived longer to see me, you know. But like I have so much great memories of him, like such amazing memories that you know outweighs all the negatives that happened to him. I know he because like I always get like stories about negative about what happened to with him, but I never think like that. I never always thought positive. Especially on certain individuals that you always want to remember them in a positive outlook instead of a negativity. And thinking about my good friend Marcos, he was such a great person. Always took care of his family. Always looked out for his friends. It's just an all around guy, and I just wished, as well as many others, as well as you guys could relate that. No, we know someone very dearly to us, that we love and cherish. Friendship or just like family relations. You just wish they could be here a little longer for you, just to see you how much you like grown, if that makes sense. And I've been wishing that so many times, and but like I said, I'm not special. I just I always want to believe like there's a possibility that wishes could possibly come true. Someone could say like, oh, you want to go see your relative, someone you love for one last time, or um but I think the only time where I kind of like had a chance to talk about good memories with like kind of not with him is when I always go with my dad to go visit his grave at the cemetery. And that was kind of like another one that's kind of like that adds to the with the dream, like with of course the dream I had of my good buddy Marcos was it was just a memory to go with it. The times I went with my dad to go visit his grave site, well, his grave, sorry. My father will always give a alcohol beverage to him, like he'll place on his tombstone. And I remember just sitting there, we'll just sit there, right? And of course, it'll be like a nice day, it'll be a little windy, but like that was the beauty of it. And then me and my dad will just talk, and sorry, um, we would just talk about the good times, amongst us, and meaning amongst us, it would be me, him, and then we doing include Marcos into our conversation. Um, and majority of the time, I would like kind of like tell him like saying like if I had a great I did great my baseball game, or I'm doing well in class, uh or something like celebrate my birthday, like stuff like that, and sorry, and me and my dad would always we always have that feeling of like we would feel his presence with us, and it was just it was good. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was a great time having those chats with him. So yeah, it was just maybe it was very tough. It was very tough. Um, Kind of like it felt tough having like a conversation, like how would I say, like trying to have a conversation when that individual is not there with you, but you just play it off, like, if that makes sense, like, so that's how I always feel. That's how I would feel, but I didn't understand about it because I was a little young about it. But like thinking back of it, like all the times I had this interaction with my father, but in hindsight, I was having conversation with him and with Marcos, good friend Marcos. So that was kind of like the good thing, the kind of like the great positivity I could say from of course the dream of like saving him, having almost like a buddy conversation with him, like like between buddies, and then yeah, it was just it was just sorry, just I expected it to be like this hard to kind of like talk about, it was like, but I did kind of like promise myself to not get overwhelmed with my emotion, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, as you talk about the great, memories about it, it's just that it's like a trigger, it's like a trigger. It just slowly develops, and you just want to let it out so badly. I'm just I'm fighting the urges right now, just fighting the tears. Like I said, I still feel them. I feel it right here, like right here, right here on the sides. It just makes me it makes me feel like make I want to make my loved ones know that I'm okay, and that I have so much support and love from the individuals I have spread like most of my personalities with, in a good way, at least, so yeah, it was just it's just tough, knowing that you have so much great memories, dream wise, right? Like this, you have these images in your mind when you rest, and it just and then as you face the real world, you just overwhelms you. Like you just want to pinch yourself and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just it was very tough. It was very difficult to for me to I had to overcome it, but I had to overcome by myself. Not wanting to kind of talk to my not kind want to discuss with my dad, because to be honest, I know my father would be more deep with this. Because what was the thing about it was I had yesterday, last night, pretty much. No, rephrase that. Friday. Yeah, on Friday. Well, I was trying to remember. I was trying to remember what day it was, but Friday, right? It was around 10 o'clock. No, actually, between 8 or 9 o'clock my time. I remembered I was having drinks with another friend, was another good friend of mine that deeply knows my dad and Marcos very well. And what was crazy about this one was we were drinking. I was tired, but at the same time, I was very not hungover, but I was slowly. I was a little faded, if that makes sense. I was high. I was almost a little drunk, but I wasn't there yet. But I was a little high, if that makes sense. And I remember we were just I was having a great chat with him, and then he brought up Marcos. We were discussing about. He was talking about our times with him. He would tell me stories about him, and what was crazy about that was I remember just hearing a story. He would tell me all these stories, and for some reason, we were talking about it. We had that sense of we had that sense of we felt like we wanted to shed a tear, literally, legitimately. Both him and I wanted to shed a tear. How much great memory we have with him, but all we did was just we would like this. We'll just take a swig, and then we would stay quiet. We would stay quiet, and then whenever we're we kind of collect ourselves, we kept going, which was weird. I thought we would stop the conversation from there after but we kind of pause, collect ourselves, and then move forward from it, which was weird. To be honest, but I think it has to do with us being selfishly, as a pride of as a man. We don't want to shed a tear. We want to feel feel weak. We want to show our weakness to others. That was us pretty much. And you know, when we got done with the whole conversation, we were just he felt relieved. I felt relieved, like to a sense of like, we had a great memory to talk about with with each other, with such a great someone as a good friend like Marcos. So yeah, it was a very deep connection we had, just and talk about the good times about it. So, but yeah, it was it was wild, but like it made me feel it made me feel happy knowing I had a chance to kind of like talk about it, because not many people could like nonchalantly have a conversation about like someone that we know deeply, that we could casually talk about without kind of like shedding like a moment with, if that makes sense. So I was grateful to be able to share that. And it was such a great moment. And hopefully, not say hopefully, but knock on wood, I have a there will be a chance where I have these conversations with my dad about him. Sorry, I know my voice cracked a little bit right there, because it just it's just that it's different for some reason, because I know with him and my buddy talking about it over probably like my father and I, it's different. It's different because I've been with I've been knowing people with my dad for so long, and I developed deep connection with them. Deep friendly conversation with them, and when you lose them, it kind of like hits you, like right here. Like just eating you alive. I wish I could fix this camera, but hits you like right here, deep in the soul. Like it's just eating you alive little by little, and you're just like fuck, if that makes sense. So I was just like, oh my god, so I'm just like when is this gonna stop? Like not in a me way, like not saying like let it end, but on just it just like, oh my god. Give me a sec, guys. But yeah, it was just like very it was just very like difficult for me to overcome. It was very hard. It was very hard to like to deal with. But at the same time, like it made me feel grateful that I was able to be able to share all these amazing experience with him. I just wish he was here with us, all that good stuff. So yeah, um, so I had to like wash my face so that way that all the so all the the emotion I've been getting no is out of the system. So but yeah, so pretty much it was just, oh god, it was just so insane. Like as I was like thinking back on it, it was just but for the most part, like it like it, all the great memories I had from it turned out to be like it ended up becoming like a great imagery for me for like rest and stuff like that. So luckily I was able to get those types of like dreams and stuff like that to maybe sleep better at night, already knowing that I'm very being looked out. I'm looked out from above from them, so that was a good thing about it. And of course, to kind of like to now to put that out to the side because um I had this question relayed to me by a good old friend. I remember chatting with him on Thursday. It was on Thursday during my game, my baseball slash softball game that I play with my father on Thursdays and Fridays with. But on this specific Thursday, he saw he saw that I was that like he saw me for the first time. He was working out. He was doing some running. He recognized me. I didn't recognize him at first, but when he got closer, he was like, "Oh shit, what's up, man?" So, as the game ended, like we finished our game like around, I think around 10, like, well, actually, it was actually before that. We got there a little early, and we were chatting, and he was like, of course, he was asking how I've been, how's everything. How I was doing well. I told him I was doing well, doing living life. Working and stuff like that, and also doing other things. And he kind of like threw it nonchalantly. It's like he like asked him same thing. He had asked her the same thing. He was working. He has a family, kids and stuff like that, right? And then he randomly just said like, "It's like I saw your TikToks. I saw your TikToks. I saw I saw you had YouTube. Do you live stream?" I was like, "Yeah, I do." So like really? He was like, "Yeah, I do. Yeah, like it's like, oh my god, that's surprising. What the hell?" He said, "What do you?" And of course he asked me questions. It's like, "What do you do?" I was like, nothing too crazy. I just mainly do play some games. I also do like some artistic stuff on the side as well as the addition of like doing a podcast. I was like, "What? You started doing a podcast?" I was like, "Yeah, I recently started doing a podcast." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why? Why did you start a podcast?" I was like, "I don't know." But I feel like, knowing myself, how lately I've been very chatty with a lot of people, and as well as here, I feel like I need to like kind of express myself in some way somehow. Not my bad. Sorry about that. I guess that some neighbors were deciding to put fireworks and it scared my dog. So my bad. So like I was saying, I remember I was telling him like, yeah, lately I've been very chatty. Like of course, with people here, but recently I've been a lot chatty been a lot chattier or very talkative pretty much while I started doing live streaming. And he was like, "No kidding." Like I mean, I never thought like that was his opinion, I never took it to heart. He was very uh he said opinion straight up. He never holds no punches. He's like yeah, like yeah. Well, you doing live streaming. I never seen you as a very talkative person or very expressive person. Yeah, you know, it took a step. It was a very big leap of faith. I told him, and but as I kind of go over the hump, I'm slowly progressively getting better at it. It's like, and then of course of course he was very positive in the end. He was like, "Oh no, kidding, I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome." And of course, he kind of like he put like a little pin on it, saying like, "It's like, I could have sworn I thought you were more talkative since you did baseball because you were a catcher." You see, hear that? You hear that? You want to go out, boy? Okay, yeah. Let me let him out there real quick. Hold on. Duh. Can't do anything about that. It's always crazy out here. Well, actually, just recently because they're popping off fireworks, but I won't be surprised if I hear like police sirens. Because of course people are very sensitive and they'll call the cops out here. But oh, excuse me. Well, back what I was saying. Um, yeah. So he was just like he was telling me like, yeah, yeah. I'm surprised you're not very more talkative because I play baseball because baseball you have to be very communicative, and for me, I did I play like I said I played baseball basically my whole almost my whole life. Um, but like when I got out of high school, I stopped playing. I played a little baseball here and there, but I started playing underhand softball. So you know, it was kind of more a slower pace, but it was kind of like fast paced at the same time. So, but besides that, he was very surprising how I took time. Like it took me baby steps to kind of like get better at live streaming based off my background. Which like I said, I was a catcher, and catchers are very talkative. Very communicative. So he was surprised that it took me a while, but I had to tell him like yeah, I was very communicative in the baseball field, but when it comes to away from playing, I tend to be antisocial like here and there. I'm always social with the people I am uh comfortable with, not, if I'm with strangers, it's just it's like it's a hit or miss, like if there's no entrance between the two parties, then what's there for me to even like interact with, if that makes sense. So he started asking me, we started going through memory lane, started having chats and here and there, and then he went back to when I was saying about the podcast. He was saying like, so like what do you normally talk about on your podcast? I was like, nothing much, nothing too crazy, just whatever feels like needs to be talked about. Like, and he of course he said like, do you talk about politics? I'm like, politics, not too much, because that's a very big topic, and I'm not the type to even think about politics. Like I know what goes around in politics, but at the same time, it's not my cup of tea. If that make and I told him like that, so it's like not my cup of tea. So I'm not gonna touch that. So like, so it's like, what do you think? What do you think you should be talking about? Like, what do you believe? What do you think? I was like, normally I talk about like it could be like relationships. It could be like dreams. Uh, childhood. Memories. Like stuff like that. Or like what be people watching, stuff like that, whatever goes around, whatever builds our interest, and of course you can build conversation out of them, so so pretty much he said he kind of like he kind of heard the word dream, right? So he just said like like dream, that's actually a big one, like and he was telling me how his kid he was dreaming to be like a firefighter and police officer, stuff like that, right? And of course, and of course, I'm like, yeah, kids dream big. They want to be this, they want to be that. But of course, I always tell them, the harsh reality, like, that's not gonna be that way. But like, you don't want to discourage a kid's dream. So, that was the crazy part about it. So, but then he kind of like Uno reversed it to me. I'm like, what is your dream? And I'm like, that's a very interesting question. Like that was like a very interesting question that I never put much thought into, if that makes sense. Is that I tell him, to be honest, I have no idea. I told him I had many ideas as a kid. Um Now it's hard to say. I told him it's hard to say because I'm doing so many things at once right now, like like working, doing live streaming, doing all this and stuff like that. So, I have lots of idea, like I have some dreams there here and there. And of course, he wanted me to tell him, and of course, I jokingly just said like, like a part want to be a social, like a social media, content creator. Like do like be like a YouTuber, be or like a TikToker, all these content creators. Be a famous content creator and stuff like that, right? But I told him like I feel like that's not gonna happen anytime soon. Like, I was like, he said, "What makes you say that?" He kind of like quickly interrupted me, saying, "Why you say that?" Like it's like because to be honest, it takes a lot of work. It's not a for sure thing, if that makes sense. It's not a for sure thing. It takes a lot of work. You have to do so many things. You gotta build connections. You gotta pull out numbers. You got and of course people have to love your personality and stuff like that, right? So and of course he was very positive. He said like you should do it though. Like I feel like if you do a big push, you will do it. And it's like yeah, but like right now, like I said, I'm doing right now. I'm just just enjoying it. I'm actually enjoying the best of it. You know, um, I have met so many people. I've making such develop relations with I'm not not looking to go for that mountaintop yet. So but if I do, I do. So, I'm not gonna get there overnight. I'll be on the level with like a lot of people that we normally watch. I told him, and he's like, yeah, I know, but I know you work hard. I know you're a hard worker. I know you like to make people feel good. You make them feel happy, and I feel like you do it. And then I was like, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. It's not a for sure thing. It's like it's a how you call it progress is in the making. It's not 100% there. I'm not there yet. So but yeah, I just told him I'm just gonna enjoy doing what I love to do. Wherever I do, to benefit others to have a great time. I'm not gonna be selfish. Because I know there's other variety content creators and also streamers that do tend to be selfish, and they get overly confident in themselves to the point to where you know they'll lose themselves, and then they put themselves in the hole and they can't get out of, right. So like I want to be just baby stepping my way, getting there, and I told him yeah. So like and then of course he just freaking randomly just said like, if you do get to the top, what are you gonna do? And never I never had anyone said that to me before. I told him like I think you're the first one that said that to me. Like I never believed that someone was gonna ask me that, because I never thought in a million years someone was gonna ask me that kind of question. So I told him, to be honest, if I were to reach the top, like I feel like I would give back to people. Like I would, if I was to help people in need, I'll give back to donate, charity, give all my free stuff. It doesn't matter if it's like clothing, you know, accessories or electronics. I'll be willing to give back to the people who kind of like supported, gave me such love and support. And of course, if they are in dire need of help, financially, I would be willing to do that too. And of course, with the addition of like helping my family out, because I always look out for my family, and then of course people who are close to me mainly, and then stuff like that. So it was very deep, very deep, like it was a very deep conversation, and I told him like this, like it was very I told him like it was very childish dream that think it is, but at the same time, I feel like it could be achieved. But at the same time, there's so much hard work you have to put into achieve those dreams. So I told him it's not gonna be easy. It takes time. And luckily, I told him luckily I have all the time in the world, so I'm just gonna enjoy every minute of what I do for fun. You know, so and yeah, so it was just crazy. It was just pretty much a crazy conversation that it was just I just told him like what like like that's my dream. I wanted to be a baseball player, but people didn't give me no props for it. Like I worked my ass off. I even tried. I tried. The crazy part was my other dream was being a professional baseball player, but it was very difficult at the time. Because if you guys don't know, I tried out for a travel ball team, which it consists of high school students coming like graduates, right? High school graduate that's recently graduated and they want to like better their game at baseball. So there was a team, which was a scouting team here in California, well, in the area of Los Angeles, right? Um, and there was a team called the LA Rhinos, and they had this tryout. And during this tryout, they had a scrimmage game. They had every student, every kid, every student there separated. From like team A versus team B, right? So so we did the scrimmage and stuff like that. I think I played catcher and I did third base at the time. I remember this correctly. You know, I did okay. I didn't say I was the best. I did good. I busted I worked hard, did everything I should done. And yeah. So we got done with that. Of course they had a handpick of kids they picked out to they have them join. And then for the others, uh they said that of course they have I was kind of like I was kind of like on their list, but at the same time they say like, oh, if you want to partake in this, want, you could pay this much. You'll be set up with uniforms, stuff like that. And we saw how much it was. We were just like, sorry, I appreciate the offer, but so during that time, my all I did during the summer was play with the adult baseball league, as well as play with I get invited with friends to go help, fill in for other teams and just play. So I never even like tried to like think like, oh, if I work my ass off this year and go try out, I could probably go. But you know, I never, I never occurred to me of that. So I just like, what, I'm just gonna work. Go to college and work, and like whenever I have spare time playing, I'll play. That's what I did, and of course, I tried to do college. Like I tried to do college baseball, and they also had a tryout. They had tryouts that had to go on, but they did a scrimmage against other schools. Um, and I remember participating in it. I went to one. I forgot where I went to go play at. It was somewhere or like in Long Beach. I think it was in Long Beach. Maybe I wasn't sure where. I did okay. It wasn't like I said, I didn't do the best. I just did my best abilities to do it, and I guess it wasn't their to their standards. I guess terms of whatever their standards were. So all I did was, just went there for some. I just went there for a semester, and all I did was work out. I remember this sports I remember this sports medicate medicine uh criminal justice. I had a basic and I had an advanced course, and then of course to go with my general classes, and then I had gym, like I think on a Friday, I remember, like just to like chill out. So but yeah, I never, I didn't give up. Like I kind of like gave up on it as well, because he was like, you know what, I'll just gonna just work, do work a hard, earn my way, and just enjoy the flow, and that's basically what I did. I end. Well, the crazy part was I had to stop school to go work to help my family out, because my family was in dire need of help financially. I was like, you know what, I had to stop everything, just to go apply at a job to go help my family out. So, all that, I was like, there goes that dream, and just all I do was work, just work, all work, earn financially, and provide for my family. And then all the way to now, actually when I first, started doing this, I didn't believe how far I was gonna make it. Like I, I was that was at the time when I was thinking negativity. You guys don't know, kind of to and it's like didn't believe it, but I think like on the next go around, I'll talk about the journey I had with streaming. Hopefully, I could bring someone on to talk about this. But to be keep it like short, like keep it short and sweet. I as soon as I started streaming, it took a lot of courage out of me to make that leap. I didn't believe like how far I'll get to it, and and just yeah, I was just completely surprised how much I've came, like how much progress I've done. Time span I made this leap. So and it goes back to going referencing off my friends saying about a dream. I've been dreaming a lot of things. I always want to be that, but I think at this moment, which will be a slow step progress, if that makes sense, a baby step way. But I know, eventually once I get achieve that, I believe like hard work pay off kind of style. So, of course, if I were to push it, go do this full time, it's gonna take a lot of work. So of course, my this dream I have, which of course being a content creator, is gonna be, next to possible. But knowing how much, how much work it's gonna be, it's not gonna be easy. I told myself it's not gonna be easy, but I believe that I'll get there someday, somehow. So, but yeah, but yeah, it's kind of like it's a selfish dream, but I um feel like to me it's like a good dream. I feel like that could be achievable, but I have to work into it. And of course, develop such good relations with others, and deepen not deepen develop great connections as well. So yeah. But yeah, for that being said, I am gonna end there. It was a very strong, very emotional, tough podcast to talk about, but I was lucky enough to make it through expressing the way I felt. Very hard. It was very hard to come out with this, but it took me a while. Like I said, it took me a while to know like come out of this because I wasn't mentally there. And I needed like some sort of distraction. And Friday was one of them. I wanted to stream yesterday, but I felt mentally distracted. I needed some distraction, so I felt like away from that. Luckily, I was able to play games with my girlfriend, help me with that. So kind of like set my mindset what to do for this to get ready for today's stream slash podcast. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you coming in. You guys have been awesome, and we are gonna get out. Our we haven't raid out to bad aim in files. Bad aim baby, she playing Overwatch. So make sure uh give her lots of love. Or for some reason I'm not good with. Okay. If you guys want, you more walk copy and paste the raid email. So yeah, I should be able to be depending, like I said, depending on work. Excuse me, sorry. Depending on work tomorrow, pretty busy, of course. I'll try to stream on Monday, just make up time for it. But if not, of course, that's be my day off on Monday, and then of course, day to Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday, I'll be streaming, as well as Thursday and Friday, I'll be live streaming my sports games. So you guys are more welcome to check that out. And of course, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be back on live streaming again. So so yeah. But if you guys, I appreciate you guys for coming in. Of course, I like to thank Kitten for I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. For you guys been awesome. I appreciate you guys enjoying my storytelling, my conversation. And yeah, and hopefully you guys stay safe, stay awesome. You guys will know if you just to let you guys know you guys are not alone. I'm always here for you guys, so don't hesitate to reach out to me. As always, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.